Hey guys, I'm Nicole from We Work for Treats, a virtual dog training studio that specializes in coaching, classes, and also self-paced courses. And I'm going to talk to you about why dog training, should be sticking around post-pandemic. So let's get into it. The pandemic puppy era definitely popularized virtual dog training, but it has been here since before the pandemic. And of course, many dog trainers have returned to in-person services, and there has been a fair amount of pushback from owners insisting on in-person services. But let's dive into that a little bit of why I get a lot of pushback for virtual services. And so, my dog needs the training. And I think a lot of you guys kind of know this, but I am a human coach before a dog trainer, essentially. And it's all about training you guys to be able to either onboard the behavior or at least maintain that behavior, because you're the one that's living with your dog every day. And so a few things with that as well. The first thing that we do when we start training our dog is managing the environment around them. Outside of the training, we need to make sure that they are not exposed to scary stuff, or on the other side, that they are not being able to rehearse that behavior that they've been doing and they're getting really good at. Okay? And so when we're managing, we're going to be training. And my goal with the training is to provide the dog a really great environment for them to learn, okay? And so that is usually without that new stranger with hot dogs coming into your living room. And also with that is the owner gets as many reps as the dog. And so I find when I'm not in the equation, the owner and the dog get the same amount of repetition and practice with that skill, which is so critical. And so there's a lot of benefits to this. I'm just going to quickly rhyme off some benefits for the owner. So the owner is the same amount of reps as the dog, improved mechanics and learning how to have a quiet body, have quiet mechanics, and being clear and concise with your cues. Along with that, you are going to have a lot of learned history with your dog, especially in the eyes of your dog. They're going to know that that behavior works every time with you, okay? And also no competition of the novel hot dog lady in your living room. And along with that, more effective training. So I like to coach my clients and be a cheerleader for them. And if I'm in the room using my hyper voice that's like counting for you and changing up your mechanics and giving you effective feedback in that moment, that is a huge distraction to your dog when they are also trying to watch you and read you. So it's really conducive to being able to coach the client with the dog. And then the benefits for the dog is that they're in a safe environment. So I talked about that before, right? They're scary ladies not standing in their living room, right? So really good for dogs with fear and aggression. And then also minimal environmental distractions. Again, AKA the hot dog lady is not there as a super enticing magnet. And then of course the bonding, positive association and building of a secure attachment with your dog. This is so critical for dogs who are experiencing any fear and aggression. And then on top of that also that your dog is also learning that and generalizing that this behavior works really, really well with you. All right. Another pushback that I get on virtual services is that my dog's behavior is very unusual. You need to come see it. And I think that's a really important thing is like, sure, I can come and see it, but I don't need to see your dog bite again. I don't need to see your dog growl and be uncomfortable, right? I know what that looks like. I know dogs, okay? And also on top of it, my job is to normalize a lot of normal dog behavior. And I'm well versed in the language of dog. What I do need to know is the environment around them, okay? And that's easily done virtually. I can see, what are some of the things that could be triggering that behavior, but we could also talk about it, right? Your dog bit. Okay, what happened right before it? Oh, I went and grabbed him. Okay, yeah, your dog doesn't like being picked up. So let's work on that, okay? And so that's what I need to know as a dog trainer is what's happening before behavior and what's happening after the behavior and how can we adapt and change those into the training plan. All right. And so I guess that leads into the next point is that I have to learn how to be a leader to my dog, and you're a dog whisperer and you need to come and give off the right energies for my dog to be tamed. And unfortunately, popularized TV has not really been conducive to the regulation of dog training. And my apologies for that on behalf of my colleagues and other pet professionals in the industry. Fortunately, it's not the industry is not regulated, and we have been given this woo-woo science that our dogs are pack leaders and we need to be alpha and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm here to tell you that it's just not true. And so a main part of it is when I'm working with clients, I'm going to give you guys the science of learning theory and behavior modification and how you can apply that to your dog. But also on top of that, how you can apply it into your everyday life, right? Not just with your partner or your colleagues and things like that, but this science and learning theory works on all species, okay? And we're going to be tapping into how that works with you and your dog. And then, of course, the other element is exposure. I work a lot of times with fear and aggression, and especially in stranger danger cases, clients are like, come to my house, my dog needs to get over strangers. And that's actually the opposite of what I do. So I do a thing called systematic desensitization and counter conditioning when I'm working with dogs who have any type of fear and aggression. And just exposing our dog is not going to be sufficient enough, and can do more damage and actually risk sensitizing your dog. So when we are doing the training, we're going to keep our dog under threshold where they're not showing those fight, flight, freeze, and fidget responses, right? That's a systematic desensitization. We expose them to the thing gradually, okay, over time, whether that's in the day, in the week, in the year, right? We're going to gradually start exposing our dog to that thing. Along with that, we're going to counter condition. So we're going to provide them feedback, an association of this stuff predicts good stuff, okay? And over time, we're going to change their conditioned emotional response to that thing, okay? And this should be best practice when working with dogs who have fear and aggression. If you hear otherwise, I'm going to say, run far away, okay? So that goes into my next point of what is best practice when it comes to dog training and in the eyes of whether the dog trainer should be offering virtual services or not. So in cases of separation anxiety, that should be 100% virtually. If a dog trainer comes to your house and is working separation anxiety, I'd very, very much question their best practice, okay? Separation anxiety is done with systematic desensitization and exposure of you leaving, okay? And you need to be able to leave and then the dog trainer observe your dog leaving. If they're there, that's not going to work, okay? Everyone needs to leave. But on top of that, we need also make sure that the leaving is very, very conducive to how that owner leaves every day. And so that would not involve the dog trainer coming and going with the owner, okay? Especially with stranger danger as well. I definitely feel this should be done exclusively virtually with some exceptions to that rule. Because stranger danger can oftentimes be due to the environment around them. So there could be a lot of things in the environment that are actually triggering our dog to anticipate a stranger or anticipate their owner doing weird stuff, okay? And so the training starts with the owner in the environment of their home. And then we start bringing in certain kind of elements along the way. But a dog trainer coming into the home right off the bat, I don't think is best practice when it comes to working dogs who have stranger danger. And then in severe bite cases, oftentimes in severe bite cases, I think management is first and foremost, and there may be some training that we do, but I believe that this is something that should be done exclusively virtually. There are other things that I do believe that can be done virtually, but also do well in a hybrid model as well. And of course can be done in person, but at the same time, I feel like there are a lot other benefits, and I'll be coming out with another blog on this regarding offering virtual services for a good chunk of the training and how that would benefit you guys as the dog owner. But don't be discouraged that you don't think a lot of these things can be done virtually when they can be. And I am definitely a person that I don't think there's anything that needs to be done exclusively in person. With that said, of course, you got to find yourself a good virtual dog trainer, and a good virtual dog trainer would be a good human coach. They're able to give really good verbal instructions. They provide a lot of different modals of information with regards to handouts and video and text and graphics and all that kind of stuff. Along with that, during your sessions that give you video or live demonstrations, you can see here in my studio, I have Peanut, who I do demonstrations with. Providing you video coaching between sessions would be really helpful, and along with that, being able to provide you more frequent sessions, which can be really beneficial. And if they can give you like shorter mini, frequent sessions, I feel like that can be a huge benefit to both owner and the dog. And then, of course, observing and collecting the data to adapt the training plan as needed, I think is really important. When we're doing in-person services, I feel like the ability to step away and observe can be hindered because of the AKA hot dog lady in the living room. You're actually not getting the most accurate body language feedback from the dog because of the heavy distraction in the environment. And so I feel, as a dog trainer myself, I can provide clients better feedback on that, and changing their mechanics accordingly, because I don't have that really enticing distraction in the environment. And then with that, I'm able to coach the special trainer intuitions into the client. And I think that's really, really important. We as dog trainers don't realize all the little intricacies of the things that we do that we have learned over the years that are now just muscle memory. All right. And you need to have a dog trainer who can see those little things and be able to point them out and be like, oh, this is something I do instinctively. And I can see that the dog owner is not doing that. And that's okay, because you're not a professional, right? But can I notice that and coach those specific nuances to the training plan that are things that I've just been doing, for over a decade now, that I think most dog owners might not even notice. And it might be not specific to you or that dog, but it's specific to that environment of the thing that we're working on with that specific dog, and you as a specific dog owner that is either making or breaking the training. I hope that makes sense. So if you are wanting to learn more, head on over to my website, We Work for Treats, and see about what kind of behavioral problems that I work on and how I can best help you get there. And happy to have a conversation on how to navigate your training goals virtually.